Here we go. It is that time again, once again. Jesse, tell them, what time is it?
It's Friday, it's 1 o'clock, it's Crucible TV time. Let's go, baby.
That's right, it is Crucible TV time, and we are always so fired up about Crucible TV time because we are here. We're here for those people who maybe feel a little bit overlooked, but still have something to prove. Can you relate to that, Jesse?
Always, man. Heck yeah. We always got something to prove. Every single day, you got to prove to yourself something. So
that's exactly it. Because so many of the athletes, we realize so many of the athletes that we have coming in here, they've been overlooked. Like we all have that, maybe a little bit of that underdog inside of us, right? We all have that underdog thing where we may have been overlooked, or we feel like somebody doesn't believe in us, and we need that person to believe in us. And guess what? You feel like you have something to prove. You know on the inside, you know what? I'm not who they say I am. I can do this, and I just need somebody else to believe in me. And that is exactly why we are here. That is why we are doing this Crucible TV thing, because we want you guys to know that we believe in you, and we are here to walk alongside you on this journey. Because guess what? We were both overlooked too. I don't know if you were here last week talking with Jesse, our stories. Guess what? We are just like you. We were overlooked. We have people not believing in us. But guess what? We're here to show you that you can do it. Whatever that thing is, you can do it. And you know what? We had something to prove, and we know that you got something to prove too. So we're going to be here to walk alongside you on that journey. So here we go. We see some people popping in on IG Live here. Little Matt Cunningham. I see a Gorilla Mike. Kelsey, what's happening? Ooh, baby. Kayla
is popping.
Man, we got them all coming in here. Good to see you reunited, and it feels so good. Ain't that the truth, Mike?
You know what I love what you said the most, Rye? Is we believe in you. That's what you told him right there. And I want to let you guys know that if you haven't heard that yet, I don't know what it is where you feel like you're being overlooked in, but I can promise you one thing right now, that we believe in you.
That's right.
Heck yeah, let's go.
We do it. So today, what are we talking about? We are talking about, what do you do? What do you do if you have been overlooked, but you feel like you got something to prove? What do you do? Do you just sit there and do you take it and say, well, I guess that's not for me, or, maybe they're right? No. What can you do? And that is what we're talking about today. Mike, we see you. Kayla, we see you. Tanner, good to see you on there, brother. I see you shining bright every single day. Keep inspiring the world out there. So what's the first thing that you can do? First thing you do is you can start controlling the controllables. What are the things that you can control every single day? Jesse, what are some of the things that we talk?
I know.
Go ahead, hit them up.
First thing you can control is your mindset and your attitude, okay? You can always, that's the first thing you got to bring, is what's in between the ears right there. And then the next thing is your effort. Guys, no matter what challenge you're facing, you can always give your best effort, no matter what. And I tell you what, you do that day in and day out long enough, amazing things start happening. I was just getting kind of fired up. We were talking about some of our, when they were back in Crucible, back before I even worked at Crucible.
1.0. 1.0.
They were little guys. We're looking at pictures of them when they're little kids, and now I'm seeing them all grown up.
Yep.
They're bigger. They're totally different, doing things in the weight room that they didn't even realize that they could do. But they consistently came in and brought that mindset, effort, and attitude day in and day out. And if you do the right things long enough, amazing things happen, no matter what kind of challenge you're facing right there.
That's it. That's exactly it, because guess what? We're going to face challenges. Like, that's a given. If you don't know that already, life is hard. You're going to face challenges. You're going to have people that don't believe in you. Heck, there's going to be times that you may not even believe in yourself, right?
Amen.
So it's, how do we respond to those things? How do we respond to the adversity? How do we respond to that challenge? What are we going to do with that challenge? Are we going to sit there and let it control us? Or are we going to use it and view it and use our mindset, attitude, and effort to decide to grow from that challenge? And challenges come in a whole heck of a lot of different ways. It might be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, right? We have all these different areas of our life that we might be getting challenged in. What are we going to do with them? What are we going to do with them? But the one thing that we can always do, no matter what the scenario, and today we're talking about, man, I've been overlooked. How do we respond to it? You know what? That might be one of the best things that ever happens to you, is that somebody overlooks you. Somebody overlooks you and says, you know what? I don't think you're good enough. See, one of the best things, little story about me, story time about me, before I was even 12 years old, I was 11 years old. And I had a coach that said, you know what, Ryan? Let me back it up. I wanted to make an all-star team because at the time, it was the coolest thing because they had names on the back of their uniforms. And now I know that's like, everybody has that now, but back in the olden days, that was like a cool thing. And I was like, I want a jersey with my name on the back of it. How can I get one of those? And I remember going up to my coach at the time saying, how do I get one of those? And he looked and he was like, Ryan, that's for the really good players. And I was like, okay, so, like, what do I got to do? Well, like I said, that's for the really good ball players. Now, at the time, I was the last player on the bench, off the bench. Like, so I can kind of understand where he's coming from, but instead of sitting there saying, well, you got to do this, he was kind of telling me, I wouldn't even try. You're not good enough, right? And that was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me because even though he didn't believe in me, I believed in me. I had a team around me. I had my dad that believed in me. And he said, you know what, Ryan? We can listen to him and we can just go along with it and say, you know what? Yep, that's for the better ball players. Or we can respond by choosing and saying, you know what? What do I need to do to get better? What do I need to do to achieve this? Because guess what? I was looked over. I was overlooked. But I knew deep down I had something to prove on the inside. Maybe not necessarily just to them, but to myself. That says, you know what? Here's a challenge. But just because it's a challenge doesn't mean that I can't make it happen. I'm going to prove to myself. I'm going to prove to myself that I can do this. I'm going to prove that guy right. I'm going to prove my dad right. He believes in me. I'm going to prove him right too. Right. So that was the best thing that ever happened.
What was the first thing that kind of just went through you? Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot.
No, it's fine. Let's go.
What was kind of the first thing that just popped in your head when that coach said that to you, man?
So, I mean, I think for everybody, it was kind of like, well, okay, well, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not good enough. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm not. And you start getting that kind of like that sick feeling in your stomach, right? Like, well, dang it.
What pulled you out of that?
Right. So I had a good mentor. For me, it was my dad, right? Where I remember going and talking to him and saying, you know what? Like, is this normal? Like, something deep in my gut felt like my coach was supposed to be telling me I can do this, right? Like, is my coach supposed to be telling me, like, you can do this, you can do this? And by him telling me, nah, don't even try, I remember just feeling weird about that. And I remember sitting back saying, like, well, maybe he's right. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I can't do that. But thank God I had my dad sitting around to be able to coach me through that and say, well, it's really up to you. We had this saying, we say it still to this day, life is the decisions you make. Life is the decisions you make. And he said, Ryan, what do you want to do? You're 11 years old. What do you want to do? Let's learn from this. Let's grow from this. If you want to make the all-star team, let's get after it. Let's make a plan. Let's figure out what we can do, what we need to do. Do you need to get faster? Do you need to get stronger? Do you need to be able to throw harder? Do you need to be able to hit the curveball? Do you need to be able to make the diving play in the field? What do we got to do? And let's go figure it out. And let's go make it happen. And I remember sitting down and coming up with a plan, and we worked at it. We worked at it. But it was a choice. It was a choice either way. I could have chosen to say, well, no, I'm going to try a different sport. Or I'm going to choose to do the tough stuff. I'm going to choose to tackle the things that I'm not good at yet because I wasn't. But it lit a fire under me. It lit a fire under my booty to say, you know what? I don't feel like working on this maybe right now, but I want that jersey. I knew my goal. I wanted that jersey with my name on the back. And it sounds funny now, but at the time, that was a big deal to me. We got to choose how we respond. We got to choose our attitude. We got to choose our effort. We got to choose our mindset. So if you've been overlooked, if you're one of those athletes right now that's been overlooked, guess what? That's okay. That's okay. Everybody knows Michael Jordan was overlooked. Everybody uses that like it's almost cliche.
Make his JV basketball
that's what I'm
team,
saying.
guys.
It's kind of cliche to say now, but everybody knows that story. But here's the greatest basketball player of all time being overlooked. But guess what? That was the single best thing that probably ever happened to him.
Well, it's fun. I think the same thing was with Tom Brady, too.
Tom Brady. There we go. Number 199. Been overlooked.
And it's funny to hear where the other 6 quarterbacks are that were taken in front of him. But it was, it's funny. But, yeah, that's the thing. Like, to me, when I hear Ryan's story and we just gave those 2 examples right there, it's like, man, whenever somebody tells you can't do something, good. And it's making that decision to use it as fuel, just like you did right there.
Yeah. You got to use it as an opportunity to grow. So there we go. Stacy, we see you popping in here. Nathan, Chase, Straight Shot Training in the house. Brayson, what is happening? We love you. Jay, God love. I don't know if you're still on here, but baby, let's go. So there we go. Step number 1. if you've been overlooked, if that is you, step number one, I want you to focus on choosing your attitude, choosing your effort, choosing that mindset. How are you going to respond? That's step number one. How are you going to choose? Kelsey, I see being overlooked as God knows I wouldn't be happy in the future if I were to make a team in the past. Same thing with jobs, absolutely. You never know what doors that God's either opening or closing, right? You never know, absolutely.
Well, and I think it's this amazing thing too. Kelsey's talking about overlooked as God knows I wouldn't be happy in the future. And I'm not trying to sound too biblical here, but I don't know if you know the story of King David. He was the last one.
He was overlooked.
He was overlooked big time.
Family just left him out in the field for crying out loud. He's too small. Oh man, does this hit home with anybody? He's too small. Yeah. He's not good looking enough. He's not any of that stuff. Yeah, see if that hits home with anybody.
I guarantee you, when he was out there shepherding, he was controlling his mindset, effort, and attitude.
He was preparing.
Stones.
He was preparing. So there we go. That's what we're doing. Sharpen that axe, preparing them stones. That's right. You never know. So step number two. Something that you can do if you've been overlooked. If you've been overlooked, I want you to get a little unrealistic. I want you to get a little unrealistic with your goals.
Audacious.
A little audacious, a little unrealistic with your goals. See, the biggest problem I see so many people falling into, the trap, is we set goals that we think we can achieve. Myself, guilty, right here. Guilty, and that's why I have my dad right off camera, right over here, shaking his head, saying, yeah, that's why he's always pushing me. You know what, Ryan? That's too small of a goal. Why are you shooting for just that? Why are you shooting, like, you already know that you can do that. Why don't you shoot for something bigger, right? But so often, we're afraid to fail. We're afraid of, what are people gonna think if I don't make this happen? What am I gonna think of myself if I don't achieve this? But I would much rather shoot for this thing way up here and fail trying than making sure that I hit this goal way down here. So the thing that I want you to do is to get a little unrealistic. Go ahead and write a goal down. I want to make the all-star team. I want to make the high school team. And then let's amplify it. Well, not only do I want to make the high school team, I want to be the number one pitcher on it, best player. Or I want to be MVP of the league. Or I want to go to college. Or I want to go to college with and graduate with a 4.0, be an academic All-America, whatever it is. I want you to amplify that goal. Don't just settle for the bare minimum of what everybody else has done. No, get a little unrealistic, because as soon as you get a little unrealistic, as soon as we get a little audacious, we do get those feelings of like, ooh,
butterflies.
I don't know if I can do that. Yeah. And what does that do? That's going to instantly, hopefully, motivate us to get our little booties moving, right? Because if we're comfortable, guess what? I'm not stressing. I'm not pushing.
And you're not stepping inside the shoes you're designed to walk in either. And what's our movie? It was last summer. It's Greatest Showman, right? They said that, why play it sensible now?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, if your goal that you're setting doesn't scare you or freak you out a little bit, or be like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. I'm feeling a little over my head. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Then if that goal doesn't do that for you, you're probably shooting way too short.
Way too short.
Way too short.
Think about this. I know y'all been there, guilty here again. You ever cram for a test? Isn't it amazing what you can do, what you can learn sometimes, and things you can accomplish?
Some of my best work.
Yeah, think about that. If you're cramming because you feel uncomfortable and you're saying, I'm not prepared, I'm not ready, and you can go out and do amazing things when you're uncomfortable and when you're motivated and you're going after a goal. What if we lived our life that way? What if we lived our life a little uncomfortable, shooting for things that, man, I'm not prepared for this. I'm not ready for this. So I better get ready. I better get prepared. So you know what? You've been overlooked. Well, guess what? I'm going to go out and make the team. I'm going to go out and be the best player on the team. I'm going to go out and show myself I can do this. I can do this.
That's awesome.
Get a little uncomfortable. Get a little unrealistic. I like that.
I like that one.
Jaden, what's happening? I see you, my man, popping in here. I hope you're doing well. And step number 3, we're going fast through these things today. Step number 3, you've been overlooked. You've got something to prove on the inside. You know what? I want you to prove them right. And you're saying, Ryan, what do you mean? Who are we proving right? I've been overlooked. You know, they told us I can't do it. Why would I prove them right? No, I don't want you to prove them right. I want you to prove all the people who do believe in you right. I want you to prove yourself right. I want you to stay focused on those people who do believe in you. Focus on those people who are surrounding themselves with you, who are pouring into you. I want you to prove them right, because they're not going to just tell you can do it just to make themselves feel good. No.
They believe in you.
They believe in you, just like we believe in you, right? So I want you to focus instead of the negative. Now, I've got to be honest again. There are times when I am on the squat rack and I go to that
100%.
nasty place. I go to that dark place a little bit, and it's like, you know what? You don't believe in me? Watch me. Watch me. Tell me I can't do something. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. You know what? Sometimes it's okay to go to that place. That's okay. We just don't want to live there forever, right? But it's okay. But prove those people right who do believe in you. The ones that are pouring that love out, that are pouring the wisdom out, the ones that are constantly showing up when you need them the most. They're doing that because they believe in you. Otherwise, they wouldn't be showing up. Prove them right. You have anybody like that in your life?
Well, I mean, I just saw right there that funk that you said you were in when that coach told you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
What got you out of that funk?
Had somebody around me that believed in me.
Heck yeah. Man, it's that's amazing right there. And it's like, you gotta have those people in your corner. You really do. You really have to have those people that believe in your corner, 100%. And like I said early on, like you hit it right you hit the nail on the head there with,
that's right.
We believe in you. We really do. Okay? If you're feeling like you've been overlooked, you're overwhelmed, you're over your head, guess what? We believe in you. And we believe that you can set that unrealistic goal, and a belief beyond what you thought was possible is possible right there. Because that's what we're really chasing after at the end of the day.
That's exactly it. So there we go. Those are our 3 things. Control your controllables. Be a little unrealistic. And then prove them right. Those who believe in you right. Because there's going to always, no matter what you do, there's going to be people who don't believe in you. That's just the matter of fact. You could be a Hall of Famer, and there's going to be people out there telling you, yeah, you're not that good. You shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
You can be the best in the world.
You're always going to have haters out there. Always. There was a time that Elon Musk had people tell him he couldn't do it. Look at what he's doing now. Look at Jeff Bezos. They had told him he was crazy for what he was trying to do with Amazon. Look at him now. Richard Branson. All these people that we're looking at, and you look at it as like, oh man, they've got it made. Guess what? They also were in that same book, that same group that was overlooked, and like, they're just crazy. They're just a little unrealistic. That's nuts. That will never work. I remember a time when somebody was trying to tell me about Facebook the first time, and I was like,
you're crazy.
That's a stupid idea. That'll never work. Yeah, look at it now, right? Like you're controlling the world. Okay? If you're not in that group of people saying, you know what, you're a little crazy, I don't know if this can work, let's keep amplifying that dream. Let's keep amplifying those goals until people start calling you a little nutty, a little cray. Then you know, okay, I'm in the world that I need to be in. And again, as I'm talking to you, guess who else I'm talking to? This guy right here. It's a self-motivational talk right now as I continue to push and continue to try to do better. So again, you're in a great group if you're around those kinds of people, if you're having that kind of reaction. Get a little nutty, get a little cray.
That's right.
Boom! Fired up.
Let's go.
So there we have it. That is Crucible TV on a Friday, about 20 minutes in. We are rocking.
Be unrealistic.
Wrote it. There we go. We got Angela. Elon Musk is not the greatest communicator, yet is super successful. He is a terrible communicator. Let me tell you something about that. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, we have all our limits, our flaws, or whatever. But guess what? We can grow through them.
Isn't that crazy where it's normally like Angela said, it's normally the person that isn't the most equipped or feels like they're not most equipped that ends up doing crazy stuff. Do the crazy, extraordinary things like that.
Yeah, people with dyslexia, people with ADHD, people with all these things that we use as limits and crutches to say, I can't do something. Some people that are some of the most successful have all those things because they've had to learn how to grow through them, with them, and say, you know what, I'm going to grow despite this, and they carry it on into life.
This is a crazy one. I mean, Ray Charles, right? Blind, one of the greatest pianists ever, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Beast
mode on the keys.
There we go. So that is our Crucible TV on Friday. So if you're feeling overlooked, but you still have something to prove, and you want to talk a little bit more, please reach out to us. DM us, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through Instagram. Shoot us a message, because we would love nothing more than to be able to talk with you and walk alongside you on that journey, because we believe in you.
That's right.
Guys, we
That's
love you.
right.
Have a blessed Friday. Love you guys. God bless y'all.